What is up, my friends? So I've done a couple videos so far on my journey to make a piece of fine art. Then the last video that I posted today was printing the fine art, framing the fine art, and getting it prepped for going into a gallery. Now, having said that, I don't have a gallery like signed up saying, yeah, let's put your work in here. I am being confident that my work is good enough. And you should be confident that your work is good enough. And if not, you should be trying daily to make your work good enough. But that's a topic for another day. So I feel that my fine art prints, all framed up, look great. I only made 3 8x10s, framed them in probably, 16 by 20 frame, or maybe a little bit smaller, maybe 14 by 18 frame, something like that. And it's matted and framed up nicely. I did that for a reason. The reason why I did that is I don't want to lug a whole bunch of really, really large prints into places and then have them, say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have a spot for you at this time, and lug that all around town. Now, where I'm going is a town called St. Augustine, which is about an hour drive from my house. It's the oldest city in the United States. It's got a great art district with lots of small little galleries and then a few big galleries, all in this couple block radius. So I think that if I bring them the work, instead of showing them stuff on my phone or on my website or anything like that, bring in a physical copy, although smaller than what I would actually put in the gallery, but bring a small printed version of it. I believe that someone will have me in one of their galleries. It might not happen right away, but I need to go make the contacts. And this is what I would encourage you guys to do if you're wanting to, go to that next step as a professional photographer or a fine artist. See if they're interested in your work. If they're not, ask them why and what can you improve on, so on, etc. I'm going to do the same thing. I won't record that whole process because I don't have a camera crew following me around. I don't think it's very professional to go in, talk business with somebody, and then have myself trying to film this on my iPhone or whatever. I will tell you the results, and if I can get a show curated or get a spot in a gallery, like my own wall, that's what happens a lot of times. You get like a certain amount of wall space, and then you can curate a show. Like I know at one place what they do is they feature an artist once a month, like first Friday of the month, and they'll do an actual art show that goes on into the evening. It's at whole downtown art walks, so you end up getting a lot of exposure if you're one of the featured artists. But if you're not one of the featured artists and you have a spot on the wall, people are still coming in and seeing your work. So it's a win-win. If I could get in to a gallery space, a shared space, usually they have like some qualifications. You have to pay a certain amount to, have that wall space. And then you have to volunteer like one day a month, one day a week, whatever it may be. There's different qualifications for each studio and each gallery. So we'll see. This is just another step that I need to do to get the exposure that I need. I feel great at the progress I've made recently on YouTube and with sponsorships and stuff like that. But financially, it's not lining my pockets with anything yet. There's a small window of time that I could keep going as hard as I am now. At some point, I will have to make some changes in my life, whether it be selling some of my belongings or getting a part-time or full-time job or whatever. Worst case scenario, I guess. And nothing against working. I've worked my whole life. I enjoy working for the most part, but my goal is to work for myself like I have for the last 30 years. I've continually opened up different businesses and provided for my family and everything at a pretty good level for, like I said, going on 30 years. In that span of 30 years, I've done a lot of different things, and I have worked regular jobs as well in there, sometimes to supplement being a business owner. So I'm no stranger to working for other people. Although moving across the country into a whole new area has made some things more difficult in the sense that, I don't have the same connections and stuff. So I'm hoping that with YouTube, I will meet connections outside of the bubble that I'm in. Some of these sponsorships that I get will become lucrative. I'm in the baby phases of YouTube, but I'm moving at a good pace, and I got to recognize that. I have been sponsored by a few companies, not what a big YouTuber would make, but I have seen some income come in. And some of it is just with gear and products and stuff like that. And although I do appreciate that, and I am using the gear, experimenting, and it's given me stuff to talk about on YouTube, it's not the end goal for me. The end goal would be that if I'm doing these reviews and everything, I'd be getting paid, and that would be part of my job. But I don't want to be a YouTuber. I think it would be great if you could literally just make videos and get paid for it, but that doesn't please the inside. It doesn't give me the good energy that I'm looking for. I need art in my life. I need to be creative. And yes, making videos on YouTube is creative, but it's not the creative that I need. I need to actually go out and do photography and other art projects. And I have the urge to show people that, and have the desire to teach about art and photography and the things that I do. I've been an artist my whole life. Most people will try and get you not to do art for a living, whether it be vindictive or just them looking out for you. Most people will give you some negative vibes on trying to be an artist. Like I said, I've been an artist my whole life, and I've had lots of ups and lots of downs. This today is hopefully an up. I'm hoping I get to meet some new contacts, at least give out my business card, get the ball rolling. I've gone down here a lot of times. I haven't full on taken the steps to get into one of these galleries. I do believe that the artwork that's in here that I haven't done yet, by me getting in a gallery, it'll urge me to go out more and create more art. But I also believe that the artwork that I've already done, that's sitting on a computer or sitting in a frame on the floor in my office, hoping that the art that I've produced or am going to produce will happen more, and the stuff that I've produced, I will be able to put up in a gallery and I can sell it. Then the art that I haven't produced, I will go out and produce, because I'll see movement. I'll see people that like what I do and want to have that in their life, whether it be hanging on a wall or given as a gift or whatever. If some of my artwork will bring somebody else joy, that's going to give me that desire to do it a lot more. So there's the fear of missing out, which is one problem. So you end up being all over the place. Then there's the imposter syndrome, which you don't feel like your stuff is at the level of these other people's stuff, or you're not good enough, or that you're faking it, whatever. And that goes through every artist's brain. Usually both those things happen, and it's kind of the highs and the lows. Like when you're got the fear of missing out, you're trying to be part of everything, you're trying to get in there and see how all these other people are being successful, or have that essence of success at least. And then there's the imposter syndrome, that is literally the thing that plagues me a lot, where I think I'm not at the level that I should be, and so I'm always striving to get better, and I'm not putting my stuff in galleries and shows and art walks and everything else, because I, in the back of my head, feel like I'm not good enough. But then, because of fear of missing out, I go to these art shows and galleries and stuff like that, and I'll see other people's stuff, and some of it I'm in total awe. I'm like, wow, that is awesome. But more times than not, I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, why the heck is my stuff not here? And the answer is me. I'm the reason why it's not there. One person's trash is another person's treasure. So, don't feel like you aren't good enough, but also pursue getting better. If you don't think that your stuff is quite there, keep trying new things. Don't do the same thing over and over again, because that's the definition of crazy. But keep going, keep grinding, keep creating art. I struggle with this, and I've struggled with it my whole life. I'll get to a certain point, and in many ways, I get further than a lot of people. People are like, oh my God, you're so successful. And I'm not at the success level that I want to be. And so you got to find that balance. You're like, I am good enough for this, but I want to be here. How am I going to get there? And so you got to make a game plan. All your friends are going to be telling you how great you are, and that's awesome. Those same friends are also not paying your bills, and telling you that you're great is not paying your bills. So you have to prove to yourself, and you have to prove to strangers that you do belong in these spaces, whether it be art galleries or just on YouTube. Many ways I don't feel like I'm good enough to even be on YouTube. And a lot of people on YouTube are not serious artists. And no, I'm not knocking them. They're doing their thing, and they're, either successful or they quit later. I don't want to be one of those guys that quits later. So I'm really striving for success on everything that I do. So I want success in my personal business and my personal branding. I want success in creating beautiful pieces of artwork, at least beautiful in someone's eyes. I don't want to have smoke blown up my yoo-hoo just to build my ego. I don't need that. I don't want that. I want to be as humble as possible, but I also want to acknowledge to myself when I'm good enough. I have some dear friends that I'll send different art pieces to. Some of my friends will tell me how great I am, and that's awesome. Some of my friends are brutally honest to the point where it's not even constructive criticism. They are literally, for whatever reason in their head, feeling like they need to tell me everything that's wrong with my work or how they would have done it differently. And you know what? That's totally fine with me. I would rather that in a lot of ways than the way where people tell you you're great, and then you tell a 5-year-old that their drawing is so awesome. But then, if that 5-year-old went to a gallery and the gallery is like, it'll crush them down. I don't feel crushed down when people do that because I'm not a 5-year-old now. I can acknowledge when people maybe have ulterior motives to putting you down. Maybe it makes them feel better. Maybe they truly want you to see things differently. So I don't take it personal when people knock me down, and that a level of maturity that has to happen to be able to weed the bullshit from the truth. And the bullshit could be that you are, great at what you do. Also, the bullshit could be, that you should have did this, 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 and this if you want to be a true artist. Sometimes that's bullshit too. So you gotta weed through it, but be humble enough to know when somebody is giving you good advice. A lot of times people can't take advice, and my advice to you is to learn how to take advice. Like I said, I have a couple of friends that will just, shoot from the hip. They'll just be like, pow, 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 pow. And at first, oh man. And then you look at their comment and, maybe they word it wrong or that, but their intent might have been right. And then you can go, okay, maybe I need a little more negative space in this fine art print, or maybe I should have blew out those highlights, or maybe, whatever advice that you get, or maybe you should have, not did such a long exposure. Maybe you should have did a longer exposure. Those things of advice you got to take with a grain of salt. And then you got to work on bettering yourself. And sometimes bettering yourself is continuing going down the path you're on because you're seeing progress, you're doing this. And I'm hoping that that's kind of where I'm at, is that these art galleries will see my stuff and go, oh yeah, we'd love to have your stuff in there. Then I'll know I'm kind of in the right direction. If that doesn't happen, then I need to take that and the advice that my friends and frenemies, and that's a thing. A frenemy is somebody that acts like they're friendly, but does nothing but give you negativity, kind of backstabbing. That's a frenemy. Take their stuff with a grain of salt, but also take it to heart in the sense that if, say, an art gallery isn't interested, maybe you go to 10 art galleries. Maybe that's what happens to me today. I go to 10 galleries, they all tell me to kick rocks. Then I got to ask myself why. And I could even ask the galleries why, which I would. If that's the case, then make some changes. Take your friend's advice. Take your frenemy's advice sometimes. Like I said, make the appropriate changes that you need to make. And like I said, sometimes there's no change. It's just a timing thing where you're like, you're almost there. Here's an example. I sent out a sponsorship letter to this company that makes a really cool camera system. Now, I don't have enough followers or even real watch time to where I thought I was really going to get them to sponsor me. But here's what happened. They loved my proposal. They wrote me a heartfelt letter right away that wasn't a generic thing. They actually read through my stuff, gave some counter advice, so forth, but they still didn't sponsor me yet. And I say yet because they don't have demo sponsor units available to send out. They've reached their quota at this point for what I was asking for. But they in turn said, hey, we would love for you to be on a waiting list, and if you want to wait on this video series, we would love to be part of it. So that tells me I'm going in the right direction. Maybe I'm biting off a lot more than I could chew, and they could recognize that, but they see potential. So that's a positive thing. And I want you guys to chase that brass ring. You know, go after whatever you're going after. It will be worth it if you don't quit. If you quit, you'll never know. And so anyway, I will tune back in here in a little bit once I'm at the gallery, or you know, after the gallery, and I'll give you guys an update. All right, hopefully you guys can hear me. I am in St. Augustine. It's a beautiful day out, and I am on my way to stop in some galleries. So come with me and let's see if I can make some magic happen. All right, so it's been a couple of days since I went to St. Augustine, and I talked to a couple of galleries. I got a business card right here of a gallery that I really liked, and I got some really good positive feedback from them. Before I talk about them, though, I would like to mention a different gallery. The first gallery I went in was the one I thought I wanted to be part of. But once I got there, and I'm not going to mention any gallery names, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I will say once I got there, I didn't get the warm, fuzzy feeling. I'm heavily tattooed, as you can see. And being in the South, sometimes there's a lot of judgment that happens with that. And especially with the older crowd. I'm getting to be part of the older crowd, I guess, but I have a younger mindset. I could tell right off that that first gallery they didn't even want to look at my stuff. Now, if you encounter that, don't even fight it. Just, you know, do your pitch, you know, say your piece, and go along your merry little way. The second gallery, there's about 10 galleries, just so you guys know. There's about 10 galleries in like a 2-block radius in St. Augustine. The second gallery was kind of tied for first place. The first one, I just happened to know a couple people there, and I didn't get a good warm fuzzy. But the second one, I didn't know anybody there. I had talked to one of the people that kind of established this place, you know, years and years ago, and they were really, really nice. And then that was like a year ago that I talked to them. And when I went back in this last time, the lady that I spoke with is the new owner, and she was super accommodating, non-judgmental, very, very sweet lady. And so anyway, I took her card, but we talked for, probably an hour. And she doesn't have any space right now for me, but she would like to have me in there. And it's a small gallery. It's probably not going to have the success that I would want ultimately, but it would be a great stepping stone just to set up some shows and get some stuff going. So I'm super excited. I talked to her today. I called her on the phone. She is super excited about doing some stuff with me, and she's also excited about me doing some marketing stuff with her because of my marketing background. So I'm going to go back in there on in a couple of days, so like 3 or 4 days from now, and we're going to establish a relationship. You know, I'm going to meet her business partner, and we're going to talk about what I could do for them and what they could do for me. And that's the best advice I could give you guys, is go out and talk. Now, I would have loved to go talk to some more galleries, and I may in the near future, but I was really happy with that energy that I got from the second gallery. The first gallery, I was very disappointed because I actually thought for sure that's where I wanted to be. The second gallery is a much nicer gallery, though. It's smaller, a lot smaller,
the vibe in there is much nicer. So, you know, maybe it's meant to be that way. You know, we'll see. Anyway, I just want to give you a heads up. I'm gonna throw up a couple of the pieces in this video just to show what I brought to show them, and then we went online and looked at a lot more of my stuff. And that's what I'd recommend. If you go into a gallery or a shop or a place that you want to present your artwork, bring some with you. Bring physical copies. Those physical copies are going to go a lot further than sitting with somebody and going through your webpage or going through your Instagram or wherever you put your heart and soul into. It just doesn't carry over in person the way it does, like if somebody's searching for that online. If you bring something tangible, an actual print or, you know, whatever your art medium may be, they get to see it, they get to touch it, you know, if you let them, they get to envision it on a wall. It'll go a lot better than just a little piece that they're seeing on a web page or your social media. So anyway, that's it. I'm not going to bore you with any more. Keep grinding, you know, don't stop. If your passion is photography, go out there and do your passion. Go out and shoot more stuff all the time. Go out and present your work to potential clients. Present your work to galleries. Present your work to your friends and family. And that's all you can do, you know, but you got to keep doing it. So until the next video, peace later, Gator.